the score itself, because of the beats, the constant beat that it had going, I came out of this movie and I was sore because I was tensed. I was just tensed up the whole time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't remember. And now you told me it was almost 3 hours. No wonder I felt like that.
Yeah, you just sit there squeezing the chair.
But yeah, just so much tension in that thing. It was just nonstop.
Double Toast is going to be doing a little tour. Going to be hitting 3 cities very soon. Atlanta, Georgia, that's October 11th. Going to be in Santa Monica, California, November 14th. And going to be in Seattle, Washington, December 12th. And you can get your tickets for those by going to x1entertainment.com/double toasted.
The next film we're going to do is One Battle After Another. So you saw this at Fantastic Fest.
I did.
Were any of the actors or the director was there, right? Was he?
No, just only on, projection of him. Thanking everyone. He talked about how There Will Be Blood was there.
Okay.
Are you about to do an ad?
No. I wouldn't do that. I swear to God, I wouldn't do that. No,
Okay.
Because of the way that I pick up clips, like they play like a millisecond. I swear to God,
Okay.
I would never, unless you needed some better help. No, I'm just kidding. But please
But
continue.
no, he talked about how There Will Be Blood premiered there, however long ago that was. And so he was excited to premiere this there.
This movie, One Battle After Another, this thing is really catching heat. I was shocked that they had it in 70 millimeter. I was like, this feels just so random. It's not based on property.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just this movie with Leo, I guess. He's wearing sunglasses, hardly looks like him. He's not even sexy. What's going on here? And it ended up being quite the film, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Just to give you guys a little bit of a setup here before we play the trailer. This base, and if you disagree with what I'm about to say, please stop me. But it basically starts like a modern Thelma and Louise, I thought, with a terrorist twist, if you will.
I wasn't thinking Thelma and Louise, but certainly.
Or sorry, not Thelma. God damn it. I wrote it down wrong. Bonnie and Clyde. That's what I was thinking.
Okay. All right.
The guy and the woman, I guess. It's just surface level.
I get because when it starts, it's just, I mean, domestic rebels.
Yeah.
I guess terrorists, depending on who, what your perspective is.
It's what it would be labeled as in that world.
It definitely would be labeled as terrorists. But, from our perspective, we see them as rebels.
Yeah, or even just people. And who knew that domestic terrorism was so romantic?
Right.
and they're Leo and I had
Tiana Taylor.
Yeah, Tiana Taylor. Thank you. They fall in love and they're a part of this group called the French 75, and they're rebelling against the government. And something happens where his wife gets captured or something happens to her and he has to raise their daughter. But the less you know, the better. Mm-hmm. Let me show you the trailer and Martin and I will give you our review after this.
Say it, baby.
Love you, Bob.
Love you too.
That is One Battle After Another. Basically gave you a summary of how this starts. The only thing that I missed, and I don't think this is a spoiler, but it's basically, like I said, single dad who's like kind of somewhere in between a revolutionary anarchist, whatever you want to call him, domestic terrorist. And there's almost like a love triangle kind of going on. But that's all I would like. Kinda.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
more like a V, but
yes,
yeah,
more like a V. But the first thing I wanted to ask you about, and I know this is going to sound corny, but what did you think of this world that it was set in? Because that was something that I found really interesting about this movie. And I'm happy to say the world didn't fall apart, but there were moments where I was like, you are flirting with something crazy here.
Well, the opening with the French 75, their target is a ICE detention center. Mm-hmm. And, it does a great job of showing you what those detention centers are like when it's not just shaky cell phone camera footage. But yeah, starting with them and everything they were pulling, all their different maneuvers, it just felt like, man, it feels like you just want to give Fox News a bunch of ammunition. I don't know about this. And it all takes place in a not too distant future.
Yeah.
It's only like only a few years from right now.
It felt like pretty much today.
Yes.
Just with a smidgen of exaggeration.
A smidgen.
Little bit. They went past where we are now, but it's totally within the realm of possibility.
Oh yeah. And it's that kind of thing where you go like, well, that's a few years off, only for you to find out it's just a couple of months off.
It's something that could be right around the corner. But I think I'll just let the cat out of the bag with this. I mean, I don't think I have any real negatives to talk about this movie. I wanted to ask you, the closest I came to it was when I was looking at the movie and thinking about it. I was like, it's 2 hours and 50 minutes. Which I did feel the length a little bit because like that's a long time to just be sitting there, but it didn't bother me.
I didn't feel the length other than it felt epic.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. And it's it's a 2 hour and 15-minute movie. 2 hour and 50 minutes?
Yes.
Wow. I really did not feel it.
Unless Google lied to me, it said 2 hours and 50 minutes on there.
Well, yeah. And it is one where I can say for that near 3 hours, there is not a good place to go to the bathroom.
No. I saw some people getting up and then like as soon as they left the room, I was like, he didn't see that. That's huge right there.
Yeah.
And I think what really makes this movie such a blast to watch is you can tell that everything about this concept is fully fleshed out, starting with the characters, where it was so nice. Like even we can start out with like the main man himself. You know, I don't have anything in my notes about Leo's character really, but I thought that this is going to sound silly, but there's things about his character that other movies would have been like, it would have been his whole personality. You know what I mean? Like, for example, like this character, he's a pothead, but they never directly like call him that, you know, or like you never see him buying weed or like there's no big element to that. It's just a part of him. Yeah. And I really appreciated things like that. And what was the name of the love interest?
Teyana Taylor is the actress.
Yeah. What did you think of her in the film?
I was so happy to see her finally get a juicy role like this. I've mostly seen her in Tyler Perry movies. And this is a chance for her to really show what she can do. And she was a force of nature.
She was amazing in this movie. She was sitting there looking back at you, Martin, going, yeah, you like this juicy shit? You like this juicy shit? I do. I totally agree. I think that her character, I could have seen more of her, I think, in the film, but what they give you of this character, I think it's enough to influence the other characters that are connected to them.
Oh yeah.
And it really like is kind of magic.
That's the perfect word because what she does and who she is, it influences everybody else in this movie.
Especially her daughter, which that is not a great picture of her because you can't see her face. But the daughter, which if I had to say there was a weaker character, she was probably, to me, the weakest, I guess. But
she's a teenager, and it's just the way teenagers are written in everything.
Yeah, I guess so. But it was earned the way that they have that character.
Oh yeah,
like develop, and it makes it elevates what's his name, Leonardo DiCaprio's character a lot because that's like what makes the movie kind of fun to watch about and think about in retrospect. That although the wife may not have been there all the time, this girl is raised by Leo. And she is totally her mother's daughter. And it's really interesting to see how they did that.
It's something that's also interesting is that, Leo, he's the biggest name star. It's his face is prominent. You could say he's the main character, but he's like the main character who's not the main character. Because there's so much going on with everybody that, at some point you don't even think of it as his movie.
Honestly, I thought of it as someone else's movie. I'm curious. I want to ask you first before I say mine. Who was your favorite character in this movie?
Well,
Besides the ones I guess that we mentioned, there's only a few more.
listen, the breakout star in this whole thing is Sean Penn.
Yes.
Because the performance he gives, I mean, he transforms. You don't even see him as Sean Penn.
No, you know who I saw up there? I saw this guy right here. That's all I could see. When Sean Penn comes on, I was like, holy shit. I mean, holy shit.
I mean, if he were to say that that's who he drew inspiration from, you'd go like, yeah, of course. Duh.
Yeah, it's and when you put the characters side by side, it's so funny to look at because like you can really see the similarities. I mean, like I don't know how he did that with his face, and
especially with the way he talks too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But man, one thing we haven't talked about, and something that Sean Penn does excellently in this film is he is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like this is another example of like someone being one of these buffoons that it's like, what else do you want to do, dumbass? Like let's see it. Like, wow, like you're stupid. I love it. Like, good dumb guy.
But he was complex too.
He was extremely, he was. I imagine his search history was pretty complex too.
But like with every scene, he delivered something new.
Yeah. And there's certain things that happen in the movie with this character where I was sitting there watching, I was like, we both know the answer to this. What the fuck are you doing, man? Yeah. Like you're wasting everybody's time right now, you dumbass. And it is a blast to watch. And another thing that really makes this movie beautiful, I think, I mean, forget, that it's 70 millimeter. I really think that doesn't matter. However, it looked incredible seeing it in 70 millimeter. Seeing that flickering effect is really magical. Like the whites are really popping, but like movie is super colorful. But also what I think really made the cinematography work, the camera, the way that it moved. There are shots in here that I wish I had clips so I could show you guys of them filming these cars driving. And there was something I was like, why does this feel so much more real than any other car I've seen driving? It did feel in a movie.
Real. Like when they're out in the desert having a car chase, it felt like you were out there.
Yeah. Or even like when they were downtown, like and the cars are scraping against each other. It really felt real. And this is a total, you know what? I'll save it for the end of the review. That made me think I'd love to see this guy make something else. But I really got to say, like, there are chase scenes and there's stuff in cars in here that rivals some of like the best car movies out here. And
absolutely.
There's scenes in here that remind me, I'm sure you'll know what I'm talking about, in F1. The end of F1 kind of reminded me of the end of this movie. Just because they use similar techniques and shots. But what really is the string that holds all these things, the performances, the story, these characters, and the cinematography is that music.
I was hoping that's what you were going to say, because it's got an amazing soundtrack. But the score itself, because of the constant beat that it had going, I came out of this movie and I was sore because I was tensed. I was just tensed up the whole time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't remember. And now you told me it was almost 3 hours. No wonder I felt like that.
You just sit there squeezing the chair.
But just so much tension in that thing. It was just nonstop.
And there was something about the music. I couldn't like put my finger on it, but the piano jazziness of it, I was like, this reminds me of films that I used to watch in film school and be like, this shit's boring, and I wouldn't be fully paying attention to it. But in here, this music, I thought that it really, it delivers this cinematic feel that I think a lot of movies try to emulate and fails.
Yeah.
That it feels genuine. And I think that that's what will really bring people into this movie. I don't have anything but like great things to say about this besides what we've already mentioned. I think that this is filled with great action, There's so many good characters. And honestly, I think that it's one of the most like just real feeling movies I've seen in a minute. Like there was never anything where I was like, I question that, you know?
Yeah, you're right.
Like it all felt believable. And that's something that I think a lot of movies get slack on, you know?
Yeah, and it's not like the movie is dour. It's got a certain sense of humor about itself, even with things that are just so serious.
Yeah.
But not to the point of.
I mean, maybe a little bit. At the very end, I was laughing my ass off.
Well, if there was anything, it was when you get to. I won't say what it is, but the Christmas Adventurers Club. There were some things that they were saying that were a bit over the top. And you're like, all right. But it's not like the movie hasn't had humor up until this point. So it's like, okay, that's fine.
And we didn't even mention him, but tell me real quick, what'd you think of Benicio del Toro? Because like,
oh man,
he was doing a little bit of his regular thing, but his timing was so
great.
good.
He comes on. He's the coolest guy in the world. He's doing what Brad Pitt will often do. But somebody pointed out to me, and I feel like I got a hint of this, but not enough to really know what I was locking onto. But somebody pointed out to me that his accent he's not doing his, he's Puerto Rican, and that's not the accent. His accent is more Salvadorian.
Oh.
As if that character had been through some of the civil wars there.
That's interesting because that's one of the things that the movie does where like I was saying, like this world is on the verge of falling apart. Not like, literally, but like I'm talking like metaphorically in the sense of like a movie where you're like believing this world is possible because of the way that things work, like where people are part of the system and stuff like that. It was really cool to see that come to life. And yeah, that's another element with this character. I didn't even notice that, but yeah, he definitely is a standout. And he had like just a bunch of stuff where it's like, man, was that director? Did you improvise that? Because that's so funny. Yeah. Like him, he's also like he's a sensei for karate, all this stuff. But I think that we've pretty much covered. Is there anything else that you think we need to mention?
Not for the viewing audience. I would just, I would reiterate to not be intimidated by the long running time because it totally justifies all of that. And I know I know if the other Julian was here, his comment would be like, man, that movie's too long. But sometimes a long movie is a great thing. And this is one of those.
All the time. Here's the thing with your movies. If you have a ton of real estate, use it.
Use it.
Every scene needs to have a purpose. You need to get some information. The best movies know how to give you a little piece of candy and keep you trailing along.
Right.
And this one does it perfectly.
And nothing that happens is predictable.
No. Even when I was trying my damnedest, I was like, this is definitely not going to happen. Yeah, I definitely wasn't thinking something else was going to happen. I think that the only enemy for me in this, the only battle that I can't seem to get over is just the length for it. But this is something that I imagine over time I could fall in love with and maybe even like more than I do. I'd give it a fully full price. This movie, the tank is full and it don't stop for the pigs or no one. All right. That's really the best way to put it. Not my favorite from this director, but it's definitely one of the best movies of the year. No doubt.
It is by far my favorite from this director. Because I haven't been in love with half, if maybe more of his catalog. There's been a few things I just really didn't like, and some things I thought, well, that's okay. And everybody else loves it, but I just think it's all right. But this one is by far my favorite. And it's my favorite movie this year so far. I would publicly give it an extremely high full price, but for me, it was a better than Sex because I saw it with my daughter, and even she was just like, this is the ultimate father-daughter movie. It's like,
it totally is. Yeah, that's a fun way to think about it for sure. God, this was so good in the movie. The part where they talk about like Tom Cruise and shit, and he's amping him up to make him jump out of the car like that. There's just this bizarreness to it that didn't overwhelm it to just make it like where it's like, oh, you got to see it. It's a weird movie, but it sounds like it's your favorite movie of the year and you're giving it a better than sex.
Yeah.
That's nice. So fully full price from me, a high full price, and a better than sex from Martin.
Well, would you look at that? You made it to the end of the video. That means you really like us. So just go ahead and press that like button and subscribe while you're at it. And check out our other channels, our social media like Instagram, TikTok, and our Patreon where we have new stuff coming up all the time. And we'll see you on the next video.